Recently we've heard a few allegations about Vanderland and their recycling service and how it's no longer being offered. Our research online has found a few articles talking about this. It's a little bit unclear exactly what they're stopping, whether they're just confused generally as to where our recycling is going. So we decided to call Vanderland Recycling, and we're going to ask them what's going on.
Vanderland Recycling Container Rentals.
Hi. Recently we've heard some things about a contract ending. Is there anyone we can ask some questions about that?
The COO would be the one you need to talk to, and actually she is off-site right now. Her name's Andy.
Awesome.
I'll have her give you a call as soon as she gets in.
Do you either today at 5 or anytime tomorrow after 2?
Okay, I will let her know.
Now we are going to try an alternative route. On the corner, there's a few single-stream, really big bins. They're like outside of Sheets. And there's a phone number on them that is different than Vanderland Recycling. And it just says County Waste. And we're just going to see what's up.
Para español, oprima 3, por favor.
Nope.
For all other calls, please press 4.
Should I press 4?
4?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling County Waste. This is John. How may I help you today?
Hi, John. Are you familiar with Vanderland Recycling? I guess.
I'm not, ma'am.
Okay, that's okay. I think they might be one of your competitors, but they've recently stopped their recycling service. So I guess my question was if you guys were taking over where they have been lapsing, but
That is correct, yeah. So this is for Albemarle County, yes, we are picking up recycling contracts in that area, correct. We do trash and recycling, so the recycling will be a separate cart, but it will be everything included in one cart.
Okay, so the recycling is single stream.
Correct.
And how effective is that? Do you guys have any sort of percentages?
Because Vanderland's was only about 25%, so we're wondering if your methods would be more effective.
Right, I understand. No, I cannot confirm that.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you so much for your time, John.
Now that we know County Waste is taking over Vanderland's recycling with single stream, let's talk about what single stream actually means. With this method, all recyclables are thrown into one curbside bin instead of being separated into plastics, glass, and paper. This was promoted for efficiency. Instead of requiring 2 or 3 trucks to pick up separate bins, one truck could do all the work. And this means lower costs for consumers and more convenient recycling, which supposedly encourages more people to recycle. But the data has shown that single-stream recycling has some significant flaws. There may be more recyclables going into single-stream bins than the trash can, but that doesn't mean more recycling. A 2009 report by the Container Recycling Institute found that only 40% of glass put in single-stream bins actually gets recycled, while dual-stream recovers 90%. This 50% discrepancy occurs because mixing different types of recyclables increases contamination, and contaminated material is sent to the landfill instead of actually being recycled. Even more striking is the implication of recycling in general. A 2017 study published in the Journal of Marketing explains the findings of 2 business professors when they surveyed a group of subjects about recycling. They discovered, quote, "The findings suggest that the positive emotions associated with recycling can overpower the negative emotions associated with wasting. As a result, consumers could use a larger amount of resources when recycling is an option." From a policy perspective, this research argues for a better understanding of consumers' disposal behavior to increase the effectiveness of environmental policies and campaigns. End quote. Basically, the research shows people become more wasteful when they can recycle. This is a similar phenomenon to traffic increasing when new lanes are added, or consumption increasing with efficiency gains. To help preserve the environmental effectiveness of recycling, the only hope is for education and awareness of these trends to decouple or break the patterns of consumption, because recycling really should not be an excuse or incentive to become more wasteful.
We tried to call Vanderland Recycling yesterday, and now we're calling them again because the lady that we wanted to talk to wasn't there, but she gave us her number, and this is round 2, so.
Vanderland Recycling Container Rentals.
Hi, I was wondering if Andrea Johnson was around.
Hold on just a second. Let me double check.
So we've been on hold for almost 9 minutes now. and this is the number we were given. I'm gonna hang up now. I'm gonna hang up in 4 seconds when we're 9 minutes in. There we go. Take 2.
Hello, Andrea Johnson speaking.
Hi, Andrea. This is Catherine McPherson. I called yesterday. We're doing a project about recycling here, and we just had a couple of questions because we're taking a class right now, a sociology class, and somebody mentioned in it that your contract, the Vanderland contract to recycle municipal waste here in Albemarle County, was ended abruptly. Not.
Well, actually, okay, so that's completely false. So we took one corner of our facility is going to be annexed and was sold to a company who does the same thing that we do. The name of that company is called County Waste. They have been our neighbors for years. So they will annex that corner of our property onto their property. They are continuing to process all source-separated commingled recyclables. Okay? The difference is our facility before that, residential waste could be combined with food waste. Okay? We are no longer processing combined recyclables with food waste. That is the difference. The commingled recyclables are still absolutely 100% getting processed.
Just to clarify, there was no lapse in recycling, collection, and processing. County Waste took over right away.
Absolutely. We were going from one day and then they took over the next day.
That is great news.
Single stream recycling.
Yes.
Okay? And everywhere has it because it would be ridiculous to have 10 different trucks just go to pick up the cans, go pick up the paper, go to pick up the plastic. It would make no sense economically. The problem is that most people, for the general public, it's hard to educate them. They don't really care, to be honest. This is the only way we know to try to explain it. So thank you for calling and thank you for your interest. Does that help you in what you need?
Yeah, it definitely did. If you wanted to explain that there was no lapse in recycling, that like everything was still being recycled, you could release another press release explaining that, because definitely the wording was a little confusing.
So that's very important to further explain. So for areas in Albemarle County that did not have a separate container to put source-separated recyclables, there is a basically point in time that unless they separated those recyclables out and took them to a processing facility, then they did not get recycled. So
Right.
I think that maybe that's what you're looking for. Haulers are now providing an additional commingled container. There is a bit of a transition, but we knew there would be, and there's really little or no way to avoid that.
Right. So do you think that a higher percentage of recyclables will be recovered now that they're transitioning to commingled recycling instead of mixed waste?
That's such an interesting question. And when everything's mixed together and one facility has a shot at everything, it also involves one truck, right? So one truck's doing the route, and now you have 2 trucks doing the route. So any sort of savings that you have on recycling plastic for, to save the carbon footprint, well, you've just doubled the carbon footprint. I think that it's much more cost efficient and less labor intensive. I think there's some things that, in some ways that the recyclables that are pulled from commingled are, for the most part, probably going to be cleaner. The thing is not everybody's going to do it. They're not going to participate. That was the one advantage of our process, is that everybody was kind of forced into it. You did it if you didn't have to think about it, right? You did it if you wanted to or not. So there's definitely advantages and disadvantages. I don't know the answer to your question. I think there's positives to both programs. It just, it's just heavily debated. I don't know the exact answer to that.
Jensen and McBay state that a company grows by manufacturing demand for its products, and so companies are constantly encouraging people to throw away what they have to buy something new, end quote. Remember, recycling is an industry, and they care more about economics than the environment. To ensure your recyclables are actually being recycled, take the little bit of extra time and effort to sort them yourself at a recycling center. But most importantly, keep in mind that the absolute best course of action is to reduce your consumption in the first place. Jensen and McVeigh also state, if you think recycling will stop this culture from killing the planet, you might just be a magical thinker.